Blake, your new movie has some very dark topics. What message are you trying to get across to the viewers?
Well, as you know, this film tackles very serious topics that all women can relate to, and my character goes through probably the worst thing that a woman can ever go through, losing her hairline, which is why I wanted to take some time to talk about New Hair My Hairline product.
What is the best way for DV survivors to talk to you?
Do you mean like my phone number or like my address? Or do you want me to like share my location?
The nemesis is real. Blake took big opportunities in films using connections, snatched Ryan Reynolds from Scarlett Johansson, and It Ends With Us from Justin Baldoni. But when she demanded more, it finally cost her own career. The film, allegations of fat shaming, power struggles, and secret lawsuits turned what should have been her career-defining moment into a full-blown scandal. From unfollowing her director to a $400 million countersuit, the drama spiraled into one of Hollywood's ugliest feuds. But was she a victim or the mastermind of her own downfall? The truth is even more layered than you think. It's no news now that Blake Lively is caught in pathetic drama over her new movie, It Ends With Us. It's based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel about love, trauma, and domestic abuse. The book has a massive fan base, especially among those who see themselves in the main character, Lily Bloom, so emotions are already high. Don't worry, I won't spoil the movie for you. The movie follows Lily, a young woman starting fresh in Boston with her own flower shop. She falls for Ryle, a charming neurosurgeon, but soon sees red flags in their relationship, ones that hit too close to home. Things get messier when her first love reappears, forcing her to make tough choices. Given the film's heavy themes, debates have sparked over how Hollywood portrays domestic violence. But you know, director Justin Baldoni, known for tackling socially conscious stories, spent 5 years bringing the book to the big screen. And he cast himself as Ryle and Lively as Lily, adding major star power. But Blake's no stranger to controversy herself. If you remember her 2012 wedding to Ryan Reynolds at Boone Hall, a former slave plantation, sparked backlash. And years later, they apologized, admitting they hadn't fully grasped the historical weight. Then came Preserve, her short-lived lifestyle site, which promoted a brand with a clothing line called Plantation 2012, and published an article romanticizing the antebellum South. But guess what? It shut down in 2015 after criticism. Despite these missteps, Blake's career thrived, starring in The Age of Adeline, The Shallows, A Simple Favor, and now It Ends With Us. But even this role raised eyebrows. Fans weren't thrilled about a 36-year-old playing a fresh-out-of-college Lily. Then came the movie's messy rollout. At the August 6th premiere, Justin Baldoni was missing from group photos, and soon after, the entire cast, including Blake and Colleen Hoover, unfollowed him on social media. Just months prior, Colleen had been actively promoting the film alongside Justin, but suddenly she distanced herself completely. Press interviews made things even weirder. Justin focused on the film's message, domestic violence awareness, and the responsibility of portraying survivors' realities. Blake, however, stirred controversy. It's unbelievable that when asked how survivors might approach her about the film's themes, she, the face of the movie, just casually joked about sharing locations and personal details.
Asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
No doubt it came off as dismissive. And worse, she never directly acknowledged survivors, instead speaking broadly about the film's emotional impact. The contrast was clear. Justin centered survivors, while Blake stayed vague. For many, that was clearly disappointing. And maybe that's where Blake's downfall started, by becoming unrelatable to the people. So, long story short, It Ends With Us had a chaotic promo campaign, which, when this kind of messy marketing happens, people can't really make up their minds about what kind of movie it is. And the worst misstep? A tagline of Blake Lively told people to grab your friends, wear your florals, and share the experience.
Grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Sounds like it's hyping up a cute rom-com. To make things worse, the trailer barely hinted at the domestic violence storyline. If you see it, aside from one brief moment of anger, it mostly looks like a love story. The result? A lot of people walked out of It Ends With Us feeling pretty shaken up.
Yes, great film. I enjoyed it. A little bit triggering because of the subject material, domestic violence.
And that's when everybody paid serious attention to them and started to understand the real-life drama between Baldoni and Blake. Instead of asking, why don't victims just leave, he pushes people to think about, why do abusers harm in the first place?
The question that's always asked is, why did she stay? And that's the wrong question.
Yeah.
What we need to be asking ourselves is, why do men harm?
That shift in perspective, it's huge. Plus, Justin's production company, Wayfarer Studios, even teamed up with an organization, No More, to provide resources for survivors. At one of the screenings, Baldoni shared a story about a woman who decided to leave her abusive relationship after watching the movie. And honestly, that's the kind of impact he was aiming for. But here's where things get tricky. Blake Lively's role in all of this. Some people felt like she should have done more to highlight the film's message, rather than just talking about the emotional journey of the characters. Until public pressure pushed her to address the topic on Instagram, she mostly stayed away from discussing domestic violence directly. And then there was the other controversy, her hair care brand launch. Seriously, who mixes up her hair care brand launch while promoting a film on domestic violence? Blake also made waves with her fashion choices, personally curating her character Lily Bloom's wardrobe with the film's costume designer. She even pulled pieces from her own closet. One standout? A pair of pants from Magnolia Pearl, a brand that, awkwardly enough, released a plantation-themed collection in 2012. Remember Magnolia Pearl? Does it ring any bell? Naturally, people noticed, and it stirred up another round of controversy. But wait, there's more. Blake had an interview with Norwegian entertainment journalist Kirsty Flaw, and it didn't go smoothly. Flaw congratulated Blake on her pregnancy, and instead of a simple thank you, Blake shot back with a comment about Flaw's appearance.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
You see, people found it rude and unnecessary, even though some think she was just trying to deflect attention from her personal life. Even when Flaw praised the film's visuals and asked about the costumes, Blake shifted the discussion to gender bias in the industry. Now look, she had a fair point, but her delivery came off as dismissive, domineering, and rude. Things got even messier when, after the interview went viral, Flaw revealed that she can't conceive. Naturally, that made Blake's pregnancy remark even more disturbing. And then there's the elephant in the room, rumored tension between Blake and director Justin Baldoni. Apparently, Blake is very business-minded, while Justin is more about artistic vision, and their approaches didn't exactly match. There are rumors that Blake secretly worked with Deadpool and Wolverine editor Shane Reed to cut her own version of the movie without Justin knowing. Plus, at that time, there was the Writers Guild of America WGA strike when writers were not available to make any changes in the script. Blake took the opportunity and made Ryan Reynolds revise the It Ends With Us script. But in case you didn't know, Ryan is a WGA member, so why did he still make changes in the script professionally? And wish that was the end. More drama unfolded on set with claims that Justin made an awkward comment about Blake's weight before a lifting scene. Some saw it as body shaming, but others pointed out that Justin has a history of back issues, which might explain his concern. Another allegation that Justin extended an on-screen kiss past Blake's comfort level. But turns out an intimacy coordinator was on set to ensure boundaries were respected. But neither Blake nor Justin has spoken publicly about it. So what's the takeaway? The controversies just kept stacking up, and it could pin down either Blake or Baldoni at any moment. And eventually, it did, but not the one everyone expected. So, understanding the situation, it was Blake Lively who first tried to take the cake and paint Baldoni as the villain. She went straight for legal action, filing a lawsuit against Justin on Christmas Eve, accusing him and his PR team of fostering a toxic work environment and punishing her for speaking out. Her allegations were heavy. She claimed Baldoni fat-shamed her, barged into her RV without permission, while she was breastfeeding and made inappropriate sexual remarks. And things really blew up when the New York Times got involved. They published private text messages that, according to her team, exposed a full-blown smear campaign against her in an article dramatically titled, "We Can't Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." You see the irony here? Baldoni had carefully crafted a public image as a champion of gender equality. He had a TED Talk on toxic masculinity, ran a podcast called Men Enough, and positioned himself as an advocate for change. But now, this article was pulling back the curtain and suggesting that, behind the scenes, he was anything but the man he claimed to be. For a brief moment, the tide turned against Baldoni, and public sympathy went in her favor. But then, on December 30th, Justin hit back hard. He filed a defamation lawsuit against both her team and the New York Times, arguing that the text messages had been manipulated to twist the truth. From there, everything flipped overnight. Baldoni's attorney took to the media, pushing their side of the story, and suddenly the entire case wasn't so black and white anymore. His legal team released the unedited text messages, and the story they told is very different from what the original article made it seem. And if that wasn't enough, they also shared actual audio recordings of Baldoni talking with his family and PR team, where he claimed he was literally forced to stay in the basement during the premiere of It Ends With Us. Yes, this man spent 6 years securing the rights and working on the film, only for the director and producer to allegedly not even want him at the event. The only way he was allowed in? If he stayed downstairs. Photos show his family and friends chilling in the basement, sitting on stacks of bottled water, while upstairs, Blake Lively was out there working the press, dazzling in her sequined floral dress and promoting her hair care line as if it was her night. Naturally, once this all came out, people were shocked and their opinions changed drastically. The cherry on top, people started noticing something kinda funny in Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a character called Nice Pool who looked and acted more like Justin Baldoni. Man bun? Check. Soft-spoken? Check. Ultra-feminist and religious? Double check. And he meets his end at the hands of Lady Pool, played by none other than Blake Lively, right in front of a flower shop. Not so subtle dig at Baldoni. Now, Baldoni's legal team didn't just sit back and watch. They filed a massive lawsuit, $400 million, directly aimed at Lively and her crew, separate from any past media-related legal battles. And the lawsuit? It pointed out how social media users had called out key conflicts way before they blew up. The whole Baldoni fat-shamed Lively accusation, it's being called out as false. Another problematic thing, Lively was deep in the production process. She even compared herself to Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones, with Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift as her dragons. Basically, at one point she even warned Baldoni not to go against her, but later hit him with a lawsuit anyway. And now all her nasty foul play is literally exposed. The result? Her career is facing some serious scrutiny. Critics say her rise in Hollywood has a lot to do with her connections, marrying Ryan Reynolds, being besties with Taylor Swift, and having a rock-solid publicist. The fact that she tried to take creative control of a project she didn't even start, this might make future collaborators think twice before working with her. Meanwhile, Baldoni is coming out of this looking pretty solid. Sure, his past struggles like addiction have been talked about, but his raw honesty is resonating with people. Plus, his decision to stay quiet while Lively keeps making moves is seen as a smart strategy. Lively, on the other hand, is now facing another lawsuit, this time from crisis management pro Jed Wallace, who's suing her for defamation in Texas. Rumor has it that he is Justin Baldoni's alleged fixer. So overall, finally, Blake is in deep water now, and this whole mess is raising big questions about the misuse of the hashtag #MeToo movement. Definitely not a good look for her at all. Do you think Blake's career will ever be the same after this scandal?